Hello guys, and welcome to my video on how to sell glyphs on the auction house using TradeSkillMaster. So the first thing we're gonna need is inks, of course. So we're gonna start by buying some herbs on the auction house. I'm just gonna scan through all the Mists of Pandaria herbs here to check which one's the cheapest. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with green tea leaf. I won't buy that much because I've got plenty of inks as it is, but just gonna buy a few stacks to show you. Because the first thing TSM can do for us is help us mill all our herbs. There's a window, opens up automatically, but if you accidentally close it, you can always reopen it by typing TSM destroy. So I've got a macro, it's in the description, you can use to make the milling even easier. So you just have to spam one button and it will mill and loot everything for you. So let's fast forward. So when you're done milling, you're gonna make the inks, of course. So you open your inscription and make the Ink of Dreams. Okay, so the next step is setting up our TSM groups. You just open up your inscription, you click the TSM Groups tab, and then you click Create Professions Groups. Then we open up TSM, you see it's made some groups for us. I'm just going to change the crafts group to only make glyphs with it, because I'm not going to make anything else using these groups. You can change the group's name under the management tab. So to select all the items and remove them, you just press the filter and click press enter. Then you're gonna go type in glyph off and only add those. So now we're only gonna craft glyphs. Next thing you need to do is make an auctioning operation. So you click new operation, you give it a name, I'm just calling mine glyphs. You can leave this tab as it is. Then we're going to go to the post settings. I usually make the post cap 3 and stack size will leave it 1, of course. The rest is up to you. This is just how I like it best. I undercut with a little more than 1 copper because it looks greedy to me, I don't know. I make my minimum price 20G, so I basically always make a profit. And my fallback price, so if there's no glyphs on the auction house that I'm posting, I'm just gonna fall back to 395 gold. I usually just leave the cancel settings as they are. So next thing we're gonna do is make a crafting operation. Calling the glyphs as well. Okay, so I'm gonna make the restock quantity 1 because we only need to make 1 of every glyph, since we can restock whenever we want. The minimum profit is actually very important because this will decide how many glyphs you're gonna make. The higher you make this number, the less glyphs you're gonna put up the auction house, because if you're gonna make it 300 gold or something, you're only gonna make glyphs where you can make at least a 300 gold profit on. Since I already have many glyphs on the auction house at the moment, I'm just gonna make it 10 gold so I can make some extra glyphs to show you. Okay, so the next step is scanning the auction house. You just press the auction DB tab and run a get all scan. As it says right here, it's recommended that you do a reload after you do this, because else the other scans are going to be slower. So I'm just gonna do that real quick. Okay, so now that we have the data, we can just use our inscription window, click TSM Groups and click Restock. That will automatically queue all the glyphs that we don't already have on the auction house or in our inventory, and that can make the profit that we selected earlier. So now we're just going to need to get the materials for them. I actually gotta rebind my spacebar here because I use that for my milling as well. Okay, so you just fly to the ink vendor. Now I'm also using an add-in called Regent Restocker that automatically buys the inks for me that I'm low on. Now if you don't have this add-on or don't want to use it or whatever, you just need to look in the queue how many items of every ink you need. Just buy those and you're good to go. So now you're just gonna make your glyphs. So after you're done making your glyphs, you're just going to fly back to the auction house. You go to the auctioning tab, it's my default tab, and you click start post scan. Now it's going to scan all the items you've got. The reason that some auctions are below my minimum price is because I actually put my minimum profit lower than the minimum auctioning price. So the fastest way of posting and cancelling auctions is to use the macro, and you bind that to your scroll wheel, so you can just scroll up, and then with every scroll you do, you post or cancel an auction. Unfortunately, that's the fastest way Blizzard lets you post auctions, because they want you to actually do an action for every single auction you post, but this way you still do an action, you just scroll once per auction you're putting up. So now another very important thing about selling glyphs is checking for undercuts. You do that by going back to the auctioning tab and starting a cancel scan. As you can see here, I'm being majorly undercut, and that's because I have several competitors who are just trying to do the same thing I am. So that kind of just depends on what server you're playing. It can be useful to put those competitors in your friend list, so you can keep an eye on when they come online, and immediately undercut them back, and hopefully they'll give up before you do. So what you see in the bar is how many you're canceling. That's just sending the command to the server, but the actual canceling takes a while longer. You can see that in the confirming part. So when you're done canceling them all, you can already close the auction house, but you will have a weird sort of lag. You can see that if I use my if you use my shield right now, it will start casting the spell, but I will only get the shield after all the canceling is done. So as you could see earlier, I cancelled about 380 auctions, so this can take a while. There we go. So now you just empty your mailbox and you go back to the auction house. So obviously the more glyphs you're gonna put up, the longer it takes to repost them every time you get undercut. So you gotta keep this in mind if you think, I'm gonna start right away with 350 glyphs on the auction house. Keep in mind that it can be a pain in the ass if you get undercut a lot. Also depends, of course, on how many auctions you get undercut on, but usually if you've got several competitors, nearly all of your auctions will be undercut after a while. So in the end, it took me actually about 15 minutes, maybe minus 1 or 2 minutes for picking up the phone. But it can take quite a while to repost this many auctions. I did have the feeling my add-on was a little slower, might be because of me frapsing meanwhile, but just keep in mind, the more auctions, the more time you're gonna have to put in reposting every time. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any more questions about TSM, just feel free to post them in the comments and I'll try answering them the best I can. I hope you enjoyed the video and good luck. Thanks for watching.